very positive person. So I look at the pandemic and think, what have I got out of it, or what could I get out of it? But the great thing is that the community we have here, everyone's pulling together, everyone's helping each other out, everyone's talking to each other and saying, are you okay?
Hello, my name's Nicole and welcome to the Big Chat. And today I am speaking to Tim. Tim is the owner and founder of T&I Travel. Well, it's executive travel services for Tunbridge Wells and surrounding areas and actually all over the country. And he's got some really amazing stuff to tell us. So I'm really excited to welcome you today, Tim. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Nicole.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
It's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, no, it's a real pleasure.
I'm really excited to have you on this chat because as we were discussing when we last spoke, it's a bit of an extension of people that I've known in the town. I've lived here all my life, and obviously been in business for the last decade, getting to speak to a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. It was really interesting to come across you again a few years ago because we do know a few of the same people.
We do.
And then obviously we got chatting to you. You were doing starting your business out. This was going back about 3 years ago, wasn't it? That we started talking to you at chatting.
February 2018.
February 2018. So tell people, before we get really stuck in, tell people a bit about T&I and all about who you are.
Yeah,
and what you do.
Sure. So my name's Tim Roberts. I'm the owner and founder of T&I Executive Travel. So I set the business up in February 2018. I guess probably the best thing to do is sort of give you a little bit of backstory as to how I got to February 2018. So my story is that I basically worked in recruitment for many years. I worked in HR and a bit of digital media. Going back to 3 years before 2018, so around about 2015, I was working in recruitment. I was working all the hours God gave, and I was working in London. Yeah. And I was coming home totally stressed out, and my thing is that you put in what you get out. So basically I was leaving at 7 a.m. from Tunbridge Wells. I was going up to London. I was coming home sort of 7, 8 at night. If you go for a drink afterwards, it's suddenly 10, 11 o'clock at night. You go to bed, you get up, you go the next day. So I was basically coming back, and I was getting so stressed with it and everything. And the thing for me was that I sat down with my wife and said, look, I'm not overly enjoying this anymore. I'm not hitting the figures, the targets that I was meant to. And at this stage, I was looking after a small team. So I had people in my team, virtually half my age, giving my age away there, that one month I'd be beating them, next month they'd be beating me. So I thought, oh God, this is not
high pressure.
Yeah, very high pressure.
Yeah.
Not when I was a younger man, it was very, very different. That was my be all and end all. But I had a family and things like that. So I knew that something had to change, and I didn't know what it was, but I just didn't have the passion for it anymore. And I worked with some people that were absolutely ruthless, great salespeople. I could sell. My personality got me a lot of deals, that sort of thing, the way I am with people, my customer service, but it just wasn't quite clicking, and I was struggling on the sort of I suppose the sort of mental side of it, and just the stress. The thing for me, I'd come home and I'd literally middle of the night I'd wake up and think, oh, I've got to phone someone, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and it's just, that's not a life, that's not how life should be in my book. So I said, look, you've got to come away from it. You've got to change. I want my husband back. Can't remember the last time that you took me out for dinner. I can't remember the last time you came home, and we just sat and chatted and watched a movie together. Because obviously I'd come home and I was absolutely shattered. And go to bed. So I needed to do something else. So interesting enough, a friend of mine basically set up a taxi stroke chauffeur service in Crowborough, which is in East Sussex, just down the road from us. And he said, Tim, come and work for me. Yeah. And my thing was that all I wanted to do was, we had a bit of savings, had a nice house, a lovely wife, daughter. All I wanted to do was do a sort of 9 to 5 and be able to go home and actually switch off and just relax. And obviously doing something like a taxi job made sense. Yeah. So went and worked for these guys for 3 years, and it's very interesting. Obviously, I could tell you loads of tales.
That's another podcast.
Story. That's another podcast.
That's a whole podcast series.
That's another podcast. But basically, the thing
Taxi Tales.
The thing was, my personality obviously was working well, but how it would be with me was basically I wanted to offer people a great service. So I was we were driving our own cars and giving a percentage back to the firm. So I was very interested in making sure my car was top notch, it was clean, I was polite with the customers, making sure that I prepared my journey, knew exactly where I was going. So I was doing all these sort of things. But what I soon realized was that the owner of the company was doing very, very well, and we were all sort of just doing what we were told. And a lot of the time you're doing short jobs which aren't really making any money because you have to give the firm a percentage back, a cut of your fare. So I soon realised, well, this was sort of after 2.5 years, nearly 3 years, that I can do a lot better than this. In fact, what I'd like to do is I could do what the owner is doing, and I can do it 10 times better, and I could put my own spin on it, add a little style as well, and a bit of pizzazz, and just give the customers an even better service. So I then decided to set up T&I, which was February 2018.
Goodness me. And the thing is as well, and you've talked a lot about this when we sort of spoke to you, when you came to talk to Chatty about, potentially working with us, that's when we first met up again. And I not really I knew you from Tunbridge Wells,
the circuit.
The circuit, shall we call it? Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. We all know a lot. There's a lot of us that know each other. Have been here forever.
Similar age, Nicole.
Similar age. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, isn't it? Okay. Similar age. Both really young and, full of life. Yeah. But, I mean, the thing is that you came in and very straight away, what stood out to me and the team was how passionate you were about giving customers a really beautiful, you're very conscientious. Yeah. You really care about people. And you did say, and I know you wouldn't necessarily say this, but I can say this, I'm the host, that when you were working for, and you said you worked for some great people, but that there wasn't a great deal of love involved.
No.
And there can't always be, because if those fares are relatively short and you're not going to necessarily get some of the things that you like to do for your customers.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, my strength is my personality, customer service.
Yeah, so you care about people.
I really care about people, and the thing for me is it's looking after customers and giving the customers the experience that they are paying for and what they are requiring. So when I set this business up, although people might say, well, he's just driving people to and fro, my key thing was that I just wanted to make it an experience for people. So I wanted people to feel that I was an extension of their business or of their family. There's extras in the car, phone chargers, all the basic things like water, sweets. The cars are luxurious. People might sort of laugh, but the amount of times if you think you've called a taxi and the guy's just been late or just not contacted you to say,
no, you're always early. You were early today. You're great. You're always no, but you're always very punctual. It's important.
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
These are the sort of things that you'd expect anyway. But that is the passion that I want people to see that I have in my business. And you probably know yourself, prior to you having a business, when you've worked for people before, you're really at their beck and call. You're doing what they need you to do, and even the people that I worked for before could probably see that in me. And so I guess something just came over me, and I thought, do you know what, I can do this. And they probably knew one day that I would never be there forever. But I was like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to challenge myself and get out of my comfort zone and go and do things for myself. And haven't looked back.
And so you literally, like you say, you've got beautiful cars. Yeah. It is almost like a concierge travels service, isn't it? Really, because you've certainly given me a few pickups and drop-offs at the airport, and it's been really lovely. Good. And you've collected a really dear friend of mine, Antonia, from when she comes over from the States. You've picked her up a couple of times, and it's always nice to send a car for her that arrives with her. Yeah. It is really lovely. But I would say that you're also incredibly you're very fair on your pricing. You don't need to talk about your pricing, but I know it's all different for everybody, and it's a bespoke service, but it's not so expensive that people listening might think, oh, that sounds rather nice, but they can probably afford that. It's actually really affordable, I would say. Yeah,
well, that's it. When I did my business plan, what I was thinking is I want to be competitive, but I want to give people something different. Anyone can get a taxi. We want to be we're chauffeurs. Yeah. This is
you are chauffeurs. Yeah, exactly.
Specialist service. Yeah. And where we are in Tunbridge Wells, it's a little bit of a niche thing as well. We live in a lovely part of the world. There's lots of lovely events and social things going on, and we want to make people feel special when they're going out, give them a bit of joy and pleasure as well. So we're very competitive with our pricing, but the key thing for us was we want to give people something a little bit extra, and also something that they can remember as well. So, these guys are really good. Or, maybe you can pick up a friend of mine on the route, or my boss just needs to lift around the corner or something like that. Oh, wow, is that the way that you travel, Nicole? That's really impressive. I really like that. So it's a little bit of a status symbol for people as well. And it just makes people feel, it's a bit of happiness for them as well.
But as you mentioned to me when we were talking recently, you did some pickups as well during lockdown, didn't you? Where you just literally went and helped. You said to the NHS, and you offered up your services, and so it's not about the money. It's
no, you're exactly right. So cast your mind back to lockdown 1. So this time,
lockdown 1, goodness me, isn't it awful? We've got more than one.
Look,
Hopefully, we've
year
got
and a half
no more.
away. Year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So cast your mind back to then. So basically, if you think from my business, the key thing was taking people to airports, and the other key thing was taking people to social events, sporting events. Airports were taken away; no one could travel.
Stopped,
and also no one really was meant to go out, so there was no travel. So I'm looking at that, thinking, right, we've got beautiful cars sitting here. Staff need to somehow keep people engaged. Need to let people know that we're still out there as well. So what we did was we went to a lot of the local hospitals. So we have a couple of private hospitals as well as a big hospital here as well. And went to a couple of hospitals, and this was the time when everyone was doing the clapping for the NHS staff, so it sort of made sense to try and give something back as little of me could do. So basically we went to the hospitals and said, look, we're going to give a discount to the staff. So that was great. So it just meant that nurses and doctors that were working 24/7, whatever time of day, could just give us a call, and they were getting a chauffeur service home. It just made people feel comfortable as well, knowing that their wife, husband, daughter, son were getting home safely. So that was very important for us. And then the other thing on top of that was that a lot of the hospital people said, look, when we can travel and when we are free to socialise again, we will come back and obviously utilise your services. So on top of that, that made me think, well, there's a lot of elderly people close to where I live. I live around the corner from you, but there's a lot of people also as well that maybe might need a delivery, a work package or something like that, or they maybe just need to basically go and see someone urgently, a member of the family, and just a little bit unsure about using public transport. So it was nice for them to know that a driver would come and pick them up, would take them there, happy to wait there, bring them back, and so they could still sort of carry on their life as well. It just made them feel good about themselves.
And actually, there is that as well that you do, like you say, it's those times when you don't necessarily want to travel. I mean, actually, you helped me. I had to have some surgery, and you helped me get picked up from surgery, didn't you? Because I didn't want to go on public transport because I didn't feel up to it. Yeah. And it was really nice to have that knowing, because you're very reliable. Yeah. I would say, Tim, that you're a man of your word.
No, very important to me.
You really are. You're someone whose integrity means a great deal to you, and you're definitely someone that if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And if you can't do it, you will get someone else. You're very good at connecting people. You're very good at helping people.
I think the big thing for me is a communication as well. You can't always be everything to everyone, and there are going to be situations, particularly in my line of business, where you're on the M25 and you get stuck in traffic. But the key situation there is to basically contact the customer and say, look, we're stuck in traffic, going to be an extra 15-20 minutes. Okay, thank you for letting me know, because I'm like, I've just got off a plane, I desperately want to get home. And it just makes them feel a lot more comfortable. And if for any reason you can't do something, so I was double booked the other day, the guys in the team had work on, so I went back to the customer and said, look, I have got another booking, and they've contacted me, and it is going to overrun a bit, but if you don't mind waiting another 20 minutes, half an hour, I will get to you. Oh, thank you very much, really appreciate that. If you hadn't have let us know and I've been waiting half an hour, it's game over.
They wouldn't have known.
They wouldn't have known. So they were just pleased that the communication was there. Okay, well, that's great. Funny enough, we're outside. We'll have another drink or something like that. At least we know you're coming. So for me, communication, integrity, very important.
Very important. And you always look very smart.
Thank you.
You look very smart today. I'm feeling a bit underdressed in my jumper here, and you're looking very smart in your suit there. And you mentioned your family and your very supportive wife.
Yes.
Who's also a business owner, isn't she?
So my wife is part owner of a hairdressers in Tunbridge Wells. So She's very entrepreneurial. She's the creative side. So.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you both got a bit of a flair, and your daughter's creative as well, isn't she? Because I saw some. So does she do photography?
Yeah. So she's the first year of sixth form. So she's doing her A levels, and she's doing photography, business and geography, so it's nice mixture there. So she she took some pictures of us recently, and
both looking very dapper.
Thank you. Yeah, so they were posted on Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to see what's going on. So, I just spent my whole life attached to my phone, but no, I did. They looked. I was
impressed. She did a great job. So
they're brilliant. So there's a bit of a flair in the family, isn't there? I would say. I mean, you've got both parents are business owners.
Yeah.
And a daughter who's getting very creative. Yeah. Lockdown as well, that must have been quite tough. Was it quite scary being new in a business? Because 2018, you've not been going long.
No, well, that was it. The saving grace for me was that basically we've been going since 2018, so we had a couple of years prior to lockdown to get the business up and running, get some new contacts. Thanks to you as well, because you introduced us to some very good people. So we're still driving with and good friends with.
We will get onto that in a sec. Some of your clientele.
Some of the clients.
You're very welcome. I only recommend people that I think are going to take care of people.
We're very grateful for that. Yeah. We've done very well with some of the people you've recommended to.
Oh.
But anyway, so we had a couple of years prior to lockdown, which I think someone must have been looking after us, because when I look at the hardship that a lot of people have had to endure over the pandemic, and people that have maybe started businesses just short of the pandemic probably wouldn't be going now. So we were luckily up and running, which was really good. But when the pandemic came, as I sort of mentioned, we just looked to have to. So you have to. For me, it was about working alongside the pandemic. The pandemic, we went once the lockdown had come, we realised that the pandemic was going to be here for a while, and you either sink or swim. You can either just sit there and moan and complain, or you've got to say, right, okay, I've got customers there. I've got to find a way to make this work. I've got to look after my customers. So it was a case of just tweaking things a little bit and just carrying on. So to answer your question as well, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. I would say 2/3 of the business put on hold.
Yeah.
No one, as I was saying, could fly.
Yeah.
And no one was allowed to socialise. But we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel now. And I think with the lifting of this last lockdown, and summer coming as well,
people are starting to go out.
Yeah, they're now sort of saying, look, we're ready to go out. We've got a lot of people that basically they're virtually just ready to just book the holiday. They're desperate to just get abroad, have some sun. We've got a lot of business owners that are saying, well, look, things are possibly going to change for us. We're not going to be travelling as much as, but when you work in business, the key is communication, is face-to-face, talking to people, sitting down with them, doing deals. So they're going to need to go at some stage and see their customers,
of course,
and we're saying, well, look, just let us know when you want to go. We'll take you there. We're happy to sort of be discreet. We're professional in the background. We can bring you back as well, and it's good for them. It's good for their customers as well. So the future is very bright. Looks very positive.
It is very bright. And you said you got more time with your family during the lockdown.
I did.
You mentioned chick flicks to me the other day.
I thought you were going to mention that.
I'm sorry, I had to mention it.
Yeah, no.
But no, listen, I think that's great. I think all men should watch chick flicks. I mean, I don't watch enough chick flicks, and I'm a chick, so I think that's brilliant.
Yeah,
but you've got more time with them.
So as I mentioned to you, so I have a 16-year-old daughter. She's nearly 17, going on 27. And the great thing is that prior to obviously lockdown, with my wife being a hairdresser and me working all sort of hours, we were a bit like ships in the night. So it's amazing. We've been married since 2002.
Oh wow!
So it's good. But the great thing with lockdown is it's for me, it's brought the family so much closer together. We're sitting down having meals more often. I was sitting with my daughter and she said, "Dad, we've got to watch this film together and everything." Whereas before I'd sort of make an excuse. So we're sitting down watching things together, playing board games.
That's wonderful.
We have a dog, so the dogs keep me slim. So take it on. I'll have a doodle out for walks and things like that. So I'm a very, very positive person. So I look at the pandemic and think, what have I got out of it, or what could I get out of it? Well, it's brought my family closer together. It's made me sit and evaluate how I can take the business forward. So it's given me, if you like, a bit of breathing space, which is great. So a lot of positives for me have come out of it. And I think that everyone needs to, or everyone, we've all been in this together, but we all need to have a look at how things can improve, because
Definitely.
there were a lot of positives that can come out. There are a lot of negatives as well.
You've got to learn from these
you have
situations.
to learn, yeah.
If you don't learn from them, I think it's, I said to someone this morning, it's almost like we've just got back to normal and everyone's forgotten again. It's like it's quite a major thing.
Well, it's almost like another start, giving everyone another start.
Yeah.
It's almost like a refresh.
Yeah, definitely.
The terminology like that, but you've got to be positive. You've always got to be positive.
You are very positive. And so we talked about sort of some of the introductions that we made, and obviously one of the introductions that we made, I invited you along to the soapbox launch.
You did,
when the soapbox was going to be happening, which clearly that got scuppered as well. Yeah. But I mean, we wanted to have you along and to meet people. We invited a few of our sort of favourite clients and people we'd worked with, and you came along and you met the ambassador, Rosemary Schrager.
We did.
Who is just a personal, I just adore everything about Rosemary.
She's just wonderful. She's such a character.
She's such a character. She's been such an amazing support to me and a really great friend. And I know with you that you're now doing a bit of driving for Rosemary, aren't you, since then?
Yeah. So she has asked us to be her chauffeurs, if you like, and sort of said to companies, look, these guys drive me around, which has been great, because obviously she's a household name. Yeah. She's local, popular lady within our community, and she's done a lot of amazing things. So companies like ITV, the BBC, whenever she does anything with them now, they say, well, we're going to send a driver. So no, phone up Tim and the team. They'll sort it all out. So it's opened a lot of doors for us, which has been great.
And isn't that amazing how you think when you sort of thought, oh, I could do this job. I could do this job better than him. Yeah. Did you ever think that 3 years later you'd be driving Rosemary Schrager around London? And do you know what I mean? Meeting some of the wonderful people that you're getting to meet.
I didn't think I'd be driving Rosemary, but I did say to myself, you're going to be driving some famous people.
Absolutely. And also, I know one of our other podcast hosts, Jess from TN Card.
Yes.
So she's doing great things for the community. And you mentioned that you've been picking her up on a few occasions and dropping her off.
The great thing with Jess is that we spoke to Jess and said, look, we'd be really interested in joining a TN Card.
Yeah.
And I noticed she was doing such great stuff in the community and speaking to a lot of local businesses. But she didn't have any executive travel sort of services within her books. So we spoke to her and she said, yeah, I'd love to welcome you on board. Brilliant. And then I noticed that obviously Jess, when she was speaking to a lot of her customers, obviously they were inviting her for social events and things like that as well. So she said, well, look, if there's any way you could perhaps sort of take me home afterwards, that would be great.
Yeah.
So of course, that's really good, because she's great. She's introduced us to a lot of people, and given us a lot of help and support as well, which has been good.
And I think that is great. I think that's what's really nice about our town now, isn't it? That everyone is, a bit like when we mentioned that we sort of known of each other, but hadn't really sort of met, and then it feels like everyone is starting to collaborate a lot more and come together a bit more and help
like
each other.
Pulling together, and everyone has been affected in some way or the other. Everyone has been affected. I'm talking very positively, but downside for me and my wife and daughter was that we couldn't see family and relatives because they live far away. So that was really sad. That was tough. Elderly parents and things like that. So everyone has been affected. But the great thing is that the community we have here, everyone's pulling together, everyone's helping each other out, everyone's talking to each other and saying, are you okay? Let's partner with each other. Let's see if this part of my business would fit with that part of your business. And we're all helping each other out, and I think it's great.
What were you doing? I mean, what were you doing when you were younger? You're obviously someone that loves people.
Yeah.
You love talking.
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that. I quite like talking, but you're very charismatic, you're very warm, you're very kind. I'm not going to get you too big-headed; your head won't fit out, and your wife, that's your wife's job. But that's what's making you successful in your business, I would say, Tim, because people get in the car with you and they get a really personal service. They get to know you, and you get to know your customers. I know what you're like. You do your homework. You're interested in people. Have you always been like that? What were you doing when you were younger? What were you like? I want to imagine you when you were like 7 or 8. Who were you?
Very interesting background. So one thing actually you might not know about me was I was adopted.
Okay.
So I was born in South London.
Yeah.
And I was a foster child for 18 months. So, and adopted to a white middle-aged couple.
Yeah.
So you can imagine going back 50 years ago, it's probably very difficult as opposed to now, and especially I think with everything going on at the moment as well. My parents are my inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I think what they have done and what they've achieved and how they've brought me up to be as well. I have two younger sisters. So one of my sisters, the other thing, a lot of people that know me will know this, but you might not know this, but you'll know people that will say, yeah, that's true, and sort of verify that, I guess. But I have a sister that was a pop star in the 90s.
I do know this
did
about
you know that?
you,
I didn't know if you knew that. So.
I do know that, but I'd forgotten.
Oh, well, that's okay.
So remind us. Remind us.
So my sister was heavily in the band The Honeys.
Yes.
They had I think it was number 2 here with
They
Finally
did,
Found.
yes.
Yeah, so,
good, I do remember that.
The interesting thing, I suppose where I'm going with this is that my two sisters, basically, the three of us were all adopted, all slightly different shades, if you like, adopted by a white family. Okay.
So all originally from different families.
Different families. All from different families. Now, obviously, we were all very, very young.
Yeah.
But my parents did an amazing job of bringing us up, installing very good virtues in us.
That's
and
amazing.
How to be, obviously, as you're an adult, as a child, as an adult, and things like that. And growing up, as I was sort of saying to you, recruitment, I wanted to get into sales. I just you're going to laugh, but my thing when I left school was I wanted to wear a suit and tie and just have a briefcase, one of those big briefcase, big boxes, and just go to London on the train. So that was my thing. So I said, I've got to do that.
Yeah.
But I worked in recruitment, and as I was sort of saying, my personality got me through a lot of situations. But I also worked with a lot of people that were absolutely ruthless. But what I did figure out was that sometimes that ruthlessness carried an element of not niceness, and an element of not how to treat people. And I figured out, do you know what? People like people. People buy off people.
Yeah.
How I am as a person, just be open with people, be honest with people, treat people how I want to be treated. And I've never steered far away from that, and that's always helped me with my career. So going back, recruitment, I worked in HR, worked in a bit of digital media and everything, and I've always stayed very true to my ethos and my way of doing things. And the great thing with doing my job now is it gave me the opportunity to almost be more personal with customers as well, and how I want our company to be TNI and going forward as well is it's almost like an extension. So customers say, well, look, my driver, it makes them feel good. I'm part of their family almost as well. Would you mind if we can just pick someone else up on the way? Would you mind if we just went this way, or could you just do that? And they know that I'll turn up on time. The team will turn up on time. They know that the rest of the guys are always going to be suited and booted, and we're professional. And it's just really important for me to share my passion and enthusiasm of how I am with my business and the team as well.
And your values, isn't it? It's your ethos
yeah.
and your values.
Yeah.
And like you just said there, that's like, your parents sound amazing. They must be incredibly proud of all of you.
Yeah, very proud.
And it just goes to show how much that, that installs in a family. That it's how that follows through, because then you're now getting success from those values that your parents installed into you as you were growing up.
I'm very close to my mum and dad, and they're really pleased, because the thing is, when I have had doubts before, they've always said, no, you can do it, and
That's so important.
Believe in yourself. And I thought, they are right, just do it.
I bet they get a few lifts now and again as well, do they?
They do. Discounted rates.
They're like, you can do it, we need a lift.
But the funny thing is,
you've got to get that if you're a parent. Come on, you've got to have some perks to being a parent.
Exactly, but not more than that. It's like, you couldn't just pick up my friend, could you?
Oh, do you get that? That's or daughter. I was going to say, does your daughter sometimes say, Dad?
Yeah, well, my daughter's I'm lucky that because of lockdown, my daughter's at that age now where, if you cast your mind back to when we were her age, we were just about to go out clubbing and things like that. So luckily, that's sort of, in a strange way, that doesn't say lucky, it's not fair to her, but it's been taken away. We've gone past that. But she's now going out with her friends and socialising in the past and just catching up and wanting to see her friends again. So of course, I want to make sure she gets home safely, or if I know that even some of the team would just go and pick her up, it just makes her feel good as well, get back safely. And her friends were impressed as well. It's a lovely car outside.
I was going to say, that's what it'd be. It'd be like, oh, can your dad pick us up? I don't want my dad to pick us up. Can we get get your dad to pick us up. And I mean, obviously you're expanding all the time. You've got a great team and you're building those values in your team.
Yeah.
What's the real thing that you love the most, that you're most passionate about in what you do?
Wow. Okay. So I guess the key thing for me is going back to the introductions that you made. There's nothing better than meeting someone for the first time, and then a year or 2 years, 3 years down the line, not only still working with them, but having such a great, amazing relationship where I've had customers that have said, we're actually going off to a show. Would you like to come? We've got a spare ticket.
Oh, that's
knowing
nice.
that I would have been sitting in the car, waiting in the car park or something like that. We're going to a football match. Would you like to come with us as well? Or there's a spare seat. We're going to have a meal afterwards and that. And they're treating me almost like part of the family.
That's
amazing. Part of the
amazing.
extension. And my job is to be professional. So of course I'm more than happy to sit in the car. And we're very discreet and we're very professional. So we sort of make ourselves sort of a bit nondescript, sort of around the corner and let them get on with things for the day. But we've had customers that have said, look, would you like to sort of be involved? And I think a great example of that is you mentioned, Rosemary, the number of times she said, no, you're with me. You come in on set.
Aww.
So, of course, we get the chance to go and sit on set. And it opens me up to other avenues, to meet other new people as well and see how other people are working. So that's one of the great things about the job.
And I do, Rosemary, that's what I love about Rosemary. She's so open. I like to be like that. I like to say, what people do with it, it's up to them. But it's really nice to say, meet this person. And Rosemary's always very much like that, isn't she?
Yeah, no,
she's probably recommended you to a lot of people.
She has, it's opened a lot of doors for us.
Yeah.
Because
you're doing a great job.
Yeah, no, it just shows.
Because you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
So there's going to be obviously more people, like you say, travel. That's going to be because you're getting busier now.
Yeah, so things are picking up for us now. Obviously, with the lifting of lockdown, a lot of people meeting their families again now, which is great. A lot of people literally have that. They were just waiting for this week for the news of the traffic light system to be able to travel. So a lot of people are now saying, for example, we're going to go away for a week or so, or we have property abroad. We need to just go over and check that, and we just want to get some summer sun. So the future is looking very bright and very positive as well, which is really good. And I think going forward, there will be people that will. I think people just the pandemic has made people very conscious and just be a lot more aware of things as well. So I think people are saying, do you know what? Let's take the family out this weekend. We can all have a drink.
And actually make an occasion of it. Good friend of mine who you've driven her, Anna, who's been a guest on the show as well, and is my neighbour. I actually was talking to her about wanting to go somewhere not that far actually for dinner, and we were saying we're going to get you to
that's
take
okay.
us, but I need to talk to you about that after the show.
Yes, that's fine.
So I think you took her mum, didn't you, when she was getting married?
So
and
we did her mum's wedding. And you mentioned about going out for a meal with Anna, but we took Anna and her three boys. And they were literally just going out for a really nice family, just family events. So we came and picked her up and just said, look,
just make it a bit more special.
We're happy to do that for you. So she was really pleased, and we just came back sort of a couple of hours later and brought her back, and she was pleased. I think the boys were, got sweets in the back of the car, free bottle of water, playing with the windows and stuff, but they were happy. So
and also there's, I think you mentioned something about scented candles. I hope it's not lit candles as we're driving along. That might not be the best thing.
No. So what that's about was when I started off and everything, my thing was I always wanted the car to look immaculate, and to smell nice as well. So my wife has these diffusers at home, so basically one day I was hoovering the car out and everything, and I pinched one of the diffusers and I just left it in the car. But of course I forgot to take it out, and of course my wife said to me, why the diffuser? I bought a diffuser. I just can't find it.
You've been taking
I just can't find it. And of course the customers, the car smells beautiful. It's a lovely smell. What a lovely smell.
You're going to up sales on diffusers now. People will be like, wow, I don't need to buy an air freshener. I could just get a car diffuser. So she's been a good influence on you.
Yeah. Well, my wife's very creative as well. Imagine as a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So that's rubbed off on me. And she's very much a get-go person as well. So that has sort of rubbed off. So it's been good.
And I think family as well, like you say, being able to spend more time with family and support each other through these times is really important.
I think that's key. I think that's really key. We're all, we've all had to go through this,
Yeah.
and you've got to look at your loved ones. You've got to look at what you're doing, and you've got to say to yourself, look, am I happy doing this? Am
Yeah.
I fulfilled?
Yeah.
Where can I improve?
Yeah.
And the great thing, one of the things with the pandemic, it gave me time to actually just sit down and just realign and actually think, okay, the business is up and running, but I might need to tailor it now. But where can I improve it in the future?
Yeah.
I was working 24/7. I was working every day of the week. And after lockdown, I said to myself, right, we're just coming out of it now. I'm saying to myself, right, okay, you just need to be more smart on anything. You need to have some family time. You need to maybe save your Sundays now. And you can get one of the guys to do the job on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Go and take the family out, have some time, sit down with your daughter, sit down with your wife. So it's just working smartly, I think.
And there's another hobby that you've got.
Yes.
That you quite like. I mean, you mentioned not being able to, the kids not being able to go out and go clubbing, and we definitely used to like clubbing back in the day.
Yes,
but
we did.
you've got a bit of a music collection, haven't you?
Yeah,
Tim?
so I'm a vinyl enthusiast.
I love that, vinyl enthusiast.
Yeah.
How many vinyls do you have to be qualified as a vinyl enthusiast?
Well, I mean,
how many have you got?
so but at last count.
Don't give away your address.
No, I won't give away my address. We moved house.
He's
So
not
my
where he used to live. You can't get his vinyl.
My wife said to me, they've got to go to storage. They're going to go
Yeah.
to storage. So basically, we downsized. We literally just moved around the corners. We found something a little bit more cozy for us as well.
Yeah.
But my wife said to me, they've got to go in storage. And to give you an indication, there was probably about 30 boxes. And I told my wife there was about 19, 20, because I just I just thought she's going to go mad when she actually finds out. And I think because obviously I don't listen to them all, I still only really listen to a certain few, but I used to DJ a bit when I was younger, so obviously I had a massive collection.
That's probably quite a collection.
Yeah, well, you're talking
And quite
in
a
the thousands.
valuable.
Probably about 3,500 records or something like that. So
Goodness
that's a lot
me.
for the average person.
My mum, I don't know whether this is a true story or not, well, I hope it's true, but it could have been exaggerated, possibly in my family. But my mum had a Beatles collection of vinyl.
Records, yeah.
She sold it at a boot fair.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Like for about 10p a
For about
record.
10p, for about
Not
10p.
for it, she didn't do well. It was that would have been one of those shows where someone went, wow, I found a whole Beatles collection.
Well, that's it. And you know what they say? They say one man's treasure is another man's. Not sure how best to describe.
I know what you're saying, and actually,
but
that's a
basically,
really
what might not be of interest to someone is perfect for someone else.
that's a really nice way of looking at
Yeah.
it. I look at it as a goodness me,
Yeah,
Mum, we
yeah.
could have had a few more holidays off those Beatles records.
Exactly. But I always sort of knew what I was looking for, and you'd see
Yeah.
things, and people, to them, it was just not of interest to them. But for me, that's the missing piece of a jigsaw.
And it is, and it's really sort of reignited that, hasn't it, as well? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, you've seen people getting record players, and
I think
did
there's
you
been
get
an
to
upturn for record players?
There definitely has. And did you get to enjoy more music in lockdown? Because that's what I loved about lockdown, was seeing what everyone else was doing music. I know we missed out on a lot, but
Yeah.
you got to see a lot of people doing different things.
Yeah, well, that was
it's a bit of a different flavour.
If you think, obviously, with the digital evolution,
Yeah.
and how things are moving now. So, we have a family sort of Spotify, so we listen to your podcasts.
Yeah.
And
You're going to be on it. You'll be listening to yourself soon, Tim.
So obviously, you can download sort of music that way and
Yeah.
stuff. But my way of relaxing is to put some headphones on, just listen to sort of music and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Go for a walk with the family, our dog and stuff. So yeah,
So that's your downtime.
that's my downtime.
So your nuggets of wisdom from lockdown, what would they be if you could sort of share those? What have you learned about yourself, and what will you be doing more of and less of now that we're
Sure. So my nuggets of wisdom are the big thing for me is I think people this was a great time to take stock. So it was a great time for me to look at myself and to see, what have I done? Where am I going? How can I improve? How am I in myself? And how are the people around me that I love? How is my wife? How is my daughter? How are my family? What am I doing? And it gave me time to look at everything and evaluate how I wanted to move the business forward. I wanted to spend more time with my family. I managed to achieve that, and thought, this is great. This is what it's all about. So I think that was very important. On the business side of things, we just had to look at how things were going at the moment. What we did was we sent an email to a lot of our customers as well, and just said, look, we are still there. when this is all over, if you do need to go somewhere
Yeah.
to let us know. And it's little things like that where customers say, oh, that's great, thank you for letting us know, because obviously if customers don't hear from you, they do tend to think, oh, maybe they're not there anymore. A lot of businesses were struggling. So it was just communication.
Yeah.
Every time I was going somewhere, if I knew that somebody lived nearby, I would often just knock on the door. Hi, how are you? Just to say, funny enough, I'm in the area.
That's
Is there
nice.
if there anything I can get you, if they're maybe a slightly older person or something like that, or just even if it's just to just knock on the door and just say, oh, hi, funny enough, I'm just around the corner. I've just dropped someone off. I just wanted to say hi. But it was letting people know that we were still there. We're still busy. And so when things do pick up, which they are picking up now, oh yeah, of course, yeah, we're thinking of going here now, because now obviously everyone is desperate to just go out and just have fun. And so now people are thinking, oh yeah, actually we must give those guys a call. Oh, yeah, great guys, yeah, really friendly, really on the ball. It's really nice that they touch base with us and just help us out. So yeah.
You definitely make people feel looked after,
that's good.
and you're very positive.
Yeah.
I always feel energized just from talking to you today, which is great. It's just what I needed. But I do wish you so much success.
Oh, thank you.
Because you are a good guy and you've got good morals and you've got a great business sense. And I think your business will really grow. And I think people, like you say, will probably where before they might think, oh, I'll just, no, I mean, taxis are fine, still get taxis. But actually, you could have a really nice time out and you could say, oh, let's. And actually, if there's 4 of your friends going out together.
How nice is that?
How nice is that?
In
a beautiful, exactly.
Travel in style.
And for me personally, it's a bit like flying business class, I got a bit upset when Norwegian Airways started to limit what they were doing, because I used to fly with Norwegian Airways when I go out to America, and then that level of service, just their premium, is so above and beyond. And it's a bit like that with you guys now. It's either my car or you guys taking me. That's where it's going to be. There's no looking back. Yeah. If people want to find out a bit more about you, Tim, where's the best place for them to go?
tniexecutivetravel.com.
TNI Executive Travel. So if you want to contact him, it's www.tniexecutivetravel.com. Or you can always contact me. I'll give you a good recommendation. But I mean, and can we expect to see more about you? I know you've got, like you said, you sort of collaborating a bit more. Obviously, we try and introduce you to people and recommend you.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And that's really it, isn't it? People talking about you and what you do is great.
There's a few of us, we're always in the town. I'm always wandering about, always going in to see new businesses, always saying hello to everyone and just finding out how we can possibly work together, how are they, that sort of thing. So, if you don't have access to the internet, obviously you'll possibly see us around and stuff. But, And
I think it's important to say, actually, because there was one thing that you did mention. You mentioned it at the beginning of this chat, but it's also that if businesses want to work with you, now that businesses are opening back up a bit more now, that actually if they want to work with you where you do some sort of, almost like you have a bit of a contract with a business and an extension of them.
Most definitely.
It's not just individuals.
No, it's not just individuals.
You're really a bespoke service, aren't you?
Yeah, we work with a number of businesses as well, number of solicitors, number of small businesses whereby it's great for them. Obviously, if they have to go to meetings or just want to take their clients, or if they need someone to be picked up and brought back. So, of course, please get in touch.
I think you could have your own little podcast. You could do your own little podcast show. I mean, you probably can't disclose what people talk about in your cars, but I bet you could tell a few tales.
That's for another day.
You're a gentleman, I know. You're a gentleman.
Gentleman never
tell. Exactly. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. Honestly, it's been really exciting to talk to you, and you definitely need to come back and talk to us again.
Thank you. No, I would love to.
Yeah, good. All right. Best of luck, Tim.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.